This is video number 6 in the acrylic painting techniques demonstration video series about including collage in acrylic paintings. When using acrylic, you don't have to start with a blank canvas. Most collage and decoupage materials are acrylic or at least compatible with acrylic painting processes when dried. First, you want to gather up all the pieces that you want to include in your collage. It helps to have it all collected and at least partially arranged before you adhere any parts, because the way you layer and arrange things is what makes collage visually interesting and adds to or changes the meaning of the original source of the image, which, if you remember, is very important if you're using anybody's imagery that isn't your own. It's important to change the meaning, that way you are achieving fair use. You can collage using most any porous 2D material. Just cut out the area that you want to use with scissors or an X-Acto knife. Be sure to use a cutting board underneath the layer you cut to avoid damaging the table or any other pages or paper or your other pieces that might be beneath the layer that you're cutting right now. Here I'm just using a piece of cardboard. You can collage with glue, of course. You can use all kinds of paper or any other kinds of porous material. You can also collage with other materials using gel medium if you have it. And we usually have some of this as well at the school. But you can start out by just kind of placing the pieces where you want them. It's nice to know how you want to arrange the piece first. So you'll see in the other video of me collecting all of these different pieces. Now I want to attach them to my paper. So I'm going to work from the background to the foreground to do that. And I'm going to use the gel medium in order to do this as well. And I'm going to start out with my brush here. So I'm using gel medium. I have a pretty large brush that I'm going to use here. Make sure that it's pretty dry when I use this. Something you'll notice as you collage with any kind of wet media is that the paper will curve or curl as you apply the wet media to it. And so it's good to start there. So I'm going to put this gel medium on the back here. It's kind of dried out, so I'm going to add some water. But you'll notice that as I apply this, it's going to kind of start curling the paper. And if we do this to both sides of the paper, we'll get a consistent shape happening. So I want to try to get this rainbow in here. That's part of my collage. Of course, you can gel medium over the top so that it sticks. You can also buy clear gesso to collage with, which I found gives the surface a lot more tooth, but it's also a little more expensive and kind of unnecessary, considering that any acrylic gel medium that is clear will suffice. So that's what I'm using here to adhere or stick all of my collage pieces to my painting surface here. In this case it's paper, but you could do this on canvas or even over the top of parts of a partially completed painting. And of course you can use any other of the acrylic techniques or acrylic painting over the top of this as well. So yeah, it's really good to make sure you rinse your brushes out, leave them in water at the very least in between using, especially with gel medium and things like that, because it does dry very quickly. and then make sure you rinse it out really well when you're done. It's harder to see because it is more transparent, so the rinsing until it's clear doesn't always make as much sense, but you just have to make sure that you get all of that stuff out of, especially the body of the bristles here. So I've done that already. And of course you can trim the edges of your collage with an X-Acto or scissors, which is what I've done here. You'll notice that this is very shiny. Some gel mediums are gloss, others are matte finish. Matte meaning that it won't be as shiny like this. Depending on what you're going for, you can use either one. But you'll notice there's some curling on the surface a little bit. That will happen, but again, if you make sure that you apply the same material to the back first and allow it to curl a little bit, and then place it on the front and as well cover the whole piece of material with the same gel medium or whatever it is that you're using, it will not do this much curling.